Hi, this is Bob Costas, and you're listening to the ML Sports Platter.
The ML Sports Platter back with you all over the major platforms. Google, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Deezer. Make sure you download, subscribe, leave feedback, and a 5-star review. Just find that podcast icon on your cell phone. For example, the purple podcast button on your Apple phone. Tap that, tap search, type in ML Sports Platter, hit subscribe, and away you go. All new and old episodes are delivered right to your smartphone device. Mike Lindsley with you at Mike L Sports on Twitter. We are presented by our great friends at Bryant and Stratton College. For every and in life, Bryant and Stratton College 2- and 4-year degrees are always starting soon. Bryant and Stratton College for every and in life. Bryant and Stratton College, by the way, a couple of great locations in the central New York area as well. If you are looking to change professions or looking to get something started right at high school, it doesn't matter what age you are, what need it is, Bryant and Stratton is there for you. James Street in the city, and of course in Liverpool as well. BryantStratton.edu. A big tip of the cap thank you as well to Rosie's Corner, Ken's Auto Detailing, the Vince Aguirre Consulting Group, and CNY Electrical. Well, it is March. We didn't have this last year, and I know this next guest of the program is so pumped to have it back, to be talking about it. He is an ESPN bracketologist, the best one out there. He's got a brand new book out as well. We're going to get into that. You can get him on Twitter at ESPN Lunardi. Joe Lunardi. Thanks, Joe. How are you?
I am great, and isn't it great to be talking college basketball in the middle of March again?
There's no doubt. If someone were to look up the word bracketologist, and your definition was next to it, right, in the dictionary, what would you say? How would you define bracketologist?
Someone who specializes in forecasting and understanding the work of the NCAA men's basketball committee. They're the decision makers here for all the coaches and the media and others who will call me, during a season or at this point in time to kind of break it down. I don't have a vote. I've been telling people like Seth Greenberg that forever. We're pundits, and they're the decision makers.
So, in your book, obviously, March Madness College Basketball and the Creation of a National Obsession, when do you think, Joe, that the NCAA tournament, March Madness, and everything in between, when do you think this time of year became that obsession? When do you think it really took off?
Well, the tournament, I would say when it expanded to essentially its current format, 64 teams, now 68, in 1985, that was a seminal moment for sure, because it created those great first 2 days of, noon to midnight basketball, as well as, I don't want to encourage anyone to get in trouble with their job. Some of us maybe got the sniffles there once or twice in March.
Couple times, yeah.
And now, let's be honest. The pandemic is probably the worst many of us will ever experience. But with so many people working from home, now I suspect the number of sick calls is going to go way down. Because we're already at home.
Yeah.
There's nothing to call it sick.
That's a good point. Joe Lunardi with us, ESPN bracketologist. Make sure you get his book all over the major bookstores, Amazon.com, and other online sites where books are sold. It's called Bracketology, March Madness, College Basketball, and the Creation of a National Obsession. When did you fall in love with the game?
Probably in college, because it was just a great incubator of sorts growing up where I did in Philadelphia. We had the Philadelphia Big Five. We still have it, but in those days, the five schools, Villanova, Temple, Penn, St. Joe's, and LaSalle, try and picture this. They all played in the same place.
Right.
Like they all played at the Palestra.
Yeah.
Both against each other and against their non-league foes. So, I'm in college with my little press pass from St. Joe's, and it was literally the most important thing I carried and owned for 4 years. And I still have it. I think about some of the teams and players and figures in the game that I got to see as an undergrad, like from 10 feet away. Like I saw Patrick Ewing play Villanova at the Palestra. I saw, Ronnie Cycli and Jim Boeheim come to the Palestra. I saw Digger Phelps and Kelly Tripucka come to the Palestra, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And not to mention, the local legends, Roland Massimino and Jimmy Lynam and Chuck Daly and Paul West. I mean, like, you couldn't help but become a college basketball person.
No doubt. Yeah, and I'm an A10 guy too. I'm a St. Bonaventure grad, and man, I think back to my time, 98 to 02, and everything that you're saying. I mean, I never saw a Ewing per se, but man, David West and Romain Sato and the Xavier teams and Jameer Nelson and Marvin O'Connor and Delonte West and Phil Martelli and St. Joe's and Temple and Cheney and John Beeline was at Richmond at that time, and Bono was really good with Jim Barron, almost beat Kentucky in the tournament in 2000. I mean, a few feet away, like you said, just a few. I saw Lamar Odom as a freshman run out for Rhode Island. I mean, the A10 in college basketball in general, obviously, and your experiences are incredible, incredibly detailed there. But it's that, man, the A10 is so underrated too, Joe. Right? I mean, let's get into that a little bit here. I mean, we're both A10 guys, and it's not Power 5. It doesn't. A lot of the schools don't have football, but God, the A10 is a good league, Joe, and it's really been a great league over the years.
Well, I'm going to get a little more detailed and a little more personal than that, just for a minute. If there is any justice in the basketball world, St. Bonaventure will beat LSU.
Yeah, baby.
In this, I know everybody in your part of the country knows about the tragic loss of their president, Dennis DePerro. Dennis was a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
We grew up in college admissions together way back in the early 80s. He was recruiting high school kids for Canisius, and I was doing it for St. Joe's. And we had a lot of common travel, and in particular on Long Island. And I can tell you that the Monday night football nights of spaghetti and meatballs out with Dennis were just something I will treasure. And what he had done, at Canisius and Lemoyne in his career, and now in Olean, it's just tragic. And I mean, no life lost in this pandemic is more valuable than anyone else's. I'm not suggesting that, but most of them weren't the president of a school that's playing in the NCAA tournament this weekend, and especially given his dedication to doing things the right way, and I'll say hypothetically maybe not quite so much at LSU. I try to be neutral. I am not going to be neutral that 2 hours.
Well, that was great, and I'm really sorry about Dennis's passing and your loss. I mean, he was what an unbelievable guy.
Lost a lot of great people, and I get the Bana thing. I've done games in Olean 20 or 30 times. I've made all the jokes about it. And the town and the place and the weather and everything else. And by the way, they're all true. But, I just respect a school and a fan base that is so loyal when they have so many reasons not to be.
Joe Lunardi, ESPN bracketologist, of course. His book is out. Just a couple more for you here, Joe. Make sure you go pick up the book. Bracketology, March Madness, College Basketball, and the Creation of a National Obsession. I think you got 67 of 68 this year, right? Have you had perfect brackets in the past?
I've had perfect brackets at 64, 65, and 68.
Okay.
But I've been stuck on this 67 thing for a few years now. So, I don't know if I'm going to get docked at my performance review or, have to say an Our Father and 10 Hail Marys. I don't know what exactly. But I tend to kind of judge myself more on seeding and placement. Because the truth of the matter is, when you get down to the last team or two, it really is pretty random. I've been doing this long enough to know that. They put Wichita in, and I had Louisville. I mean, I can't argue with that. I'm not sure if I was in the room that I would have voted for Louisville. But I thought they would. And, to their credit, they didn't take a middling major conference team. And they didn't fall for the allure of Duke or whomever. So I'm pretty content with how consistent the committee was this year. They were 2 years ago as well, and they're going off the rails. Again, in my humble view, they're going off the rails less than when I first started doing this. And in fairness, maybe we're both getting a little smarter.
What do you hope people say when they get done with your book?
I hope they say that he takes his work seriously, but not himself. I want to have a beer with that guy.
I love it. Go get the book. It's called Bracketology, March Madness, College Basketball, and the Creation of a National Obsession. The author, of course, is Joe Lunardi. The forward is by Mark Few, the head coach of the Gonzaga team this year that's trying to run the table. And you can get Joe Lunardi on Twitter, at ESPN Lunardi, the fantastic ESPN bracketologist and a mediocre golfer. But you know what? Mediocre is better than a lot of other people out there, Joe. Hey, maybe sometime if you're up in central New York, or we'll meet for a Bonnet game, or I'll come down to Pennsylvania and we'll try to hit 18. I can't thank you enough for coming on, and continued success. And hey, go Bonnas. Thanks for the kind words.
You're very kind. I'm going to try and play the Schmidt's Coaches versus Cancer event actually in August.
Okay, maybe I'll try to get there.
I may be in your part of the world.
Folks, now let me tell you about our friends from DraftKings. Make sure you head on over to DraftKings.com. Get a deposit bonus up to $500. Play with the leader in daily fantasy sports today. Create your account, bet, win, have fun, watch the games, compete with your buddies. It's all there. Daily fantasy sports at DraftKings. Also, a big tip of the cap thank you to our pals over at Manscaped. This tournament season, take care of your hair and holes with the best tools for the job. We're talking about sponsors of ours, Manscaped. That's right, the global leaders in male grooming from head to toe. When the clock winds down in March, be clutch and avoid the upset with the Manscaped Performance Package to keep all your hair and holes tamed. Get this. You can start taking care of your man parts today with 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com and using our code BRAWL for our exclusive offer. That's manscaped.com, manscaped.com. Man parts, take care of them now. 20% off and free shipping by going to manscaped.com and using our code BRAWL for our exclusive offer. The ML Sports Platter rolls forward on this special Saturday edition podcast as we prepare for more tournament games, and obviously the game I am eyeing the most. We are crazy for our St. Bonaventure Bonnies, and you just heard Joe Lunardi, the bracketologist from ESPN, and the author. Make sure you pick up his brand new book as well. But let's keep the Bonnet talk going. Let's talk some hoops. We'll go back a little bit to her terrific career at St. Bonaventure and what she's doing now. Journalism school, of course, like myself. Let's bring in Michelle Brown at M3Brown on Twitter. Again, follow her there at M3Brown. Michelle, welcome in.
It sure is. It is. Exciting times.
So you obviously had a really nice career at Bonna. You know, you went to the journalism school. You played 4 years of basketball. Coach Crowley, Jim Crowley was there right at that time.
Yep. Marty Whitmore. Marty Whitmore was our coach. It was right before Crowley became the head coach.
Yeah, okay, there you go. So and Crowley was there when he, I used to do radio shows with him and call women's basketball, and I think I just missed you We were a couple of years apart. But, you look back at Bonna now, are you kind of where I am, where when they get to the tournament, when something huge happens on the men's side, when we're getting national recognition, the appreciation, it like gets deeper as the years go. Do you feel that way about our alma mater, that it's just
I do.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, I love my time there, and I love my friends, and I love being there. But I said to someone the other day that I feel like since leaving, and every time something great happens, my love gets deeper, and because my connections actually grow stronger. I know way more people now.
Me too.
Than I did when I was there. So
yeah,
it's and the network is great, and so it grows deeper because of that, because you see that bond.
One thing that's wild, right? When you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you kind of do, appreciate moments when you're there, but you don't do it in full because you're young. I mean, that's just not what you do when you're 18. You don't walk around, the front lawn or walk around Dev or, there's little things here and there that you probably did do. I remember playing at the Bonna Golf Course, and I made a point to just look at the campus in the fall and how gorgeous it was, with the changing colors. And when the men would have a huge win in the RC, I would go there way after the game ended and just walk up to the Reds and sit there by myself and look out on the court. So there's many moments where you really captured and appreciated it, but nothing as you go on. What were those moments though for you? I mean, was it more the hoops, the journalism? Was it other campus activities? I know you didn't have a lot of time because of sports, but what was it? What were the mini appreciation moments for you when you were there, actually?
Yeah, I think for me, you're right. I mean, there's not a lot of time to do a whole lot of things outside, but certainly the times with my teammates, and I mean, we spent so much time at the Riley Center, in our locker room, in the weight room with Coach Fisk, and so all those moments of just the people, and I got to know Coach or Steve Mest really well,
yeah.
And just everybody that worked in athletics, just because we were there all the time. And so I did some intern hours. Some of my intern hours were in all the different departments there, and I did do a little Friday night radio show with my soccer, my best friend from the soccer team, Carrie Gummity. So a lot of great time with her in my journalism classes, and doing our show, and just supporting one another too. We were roommates, so supporting the women's soccer team and her supporting the basketball team, and just those connections, all those little moments. But yeah, you take for granted. You don't realize till you leave how special a place like that is.
Yeah, it's wild, and a lot of people obviously on the outside think we're freaking crazy. I mean, that's the bottom line, and I'm cool with that. And I try to tell them, with the Bonna connection, the relationships, the uniqueness, the smallness of the school, we're everywhere. I mean, how is a school of 1,800 undergrad? How are we everywhere? How are
right.
The alumni
right.
page, the social media? Just this week, I mean, I went on radio in Louisiana today. It's wild. We're everywhere, and so it brings me to this. From your perspective, when people come at you with the "you guys are crazy" thing, you guys are a cult, da 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 da, do you describe it as a cult? Do you agree with them? How do you describe the Bonna phenomenon? How do you tell people about it?
Yeah, I think I do sometimes say it's a cult, but in a really loving, conscious
Sure.
way. Nobody's forced to be there. Everybody wants to be there. Everybody wants to be a part of that party. It's like Dan Wetzel put it so perfectly in that article this week, where he just took the essence of what Bonaventure is, that there's nothing there, and so you have to have each other, and you understand the experience because you've been there. And so when you meet people outside of it, and there's so few of us, that that there's a special bond, and you can go say hi to them. You can yell to them across an airport. You can follow them into a gas station because they have a sticker on their car. I may or may not have done that. And nobody thinks it's crazy because we're like, there's so few of us, but we love our experience and our connection so deeply. So when you find somebody that went there, it's like you're automatically best friends. And there's no question about that. Like, you could ask anybody for anything, and there's no question, which is just amazing.
So let's get into this team a little bit here. Playing against LSU, you couldn't get more of a mismatch as far as schools and programs and money and all the stuff that goes into it, Power 5, non-Power 5, etc. The little engine that could against, possibly 3 first-round NBA guys. When did you feel this year, in a wild year for everyone, for obvious reasons, when did you say, this team's pretty darn special, they're legit, they're good? Did you have a moment?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was just in, I'm trying to think of what game it was, but it was just, maybe 5 games ago. It was, definitely in February, where they started to drop the shots. They started to hit them, they started to go in, and really just, you could see them gelling, and you could see them having fun. And I think every time you see the smiles on their faces, which, how great is that to see all the time? You could tell that they love playing together, and the connection is so, so strong. And that is what makes the difference, I mean, this is a far-off comparison, but I remember watching Villanova in the first round of the first year that they won the tournament. And I was there with my kids, and we were watching them, and we would follow them off, and we were there for the first round. And we were watching us, and I turned to my kids, and I said, wow, that is a championship team. Watch them. Watch how they literally pick each other off the floor. Watch how they go over it and support one another, how much fun they're having. And the same holds true when I think back to my Eagles Super Bowl winning team. They weren't all the best, but they played together as a team, and they came, these teams who come together at the right place at the right time with the right attitude can really do anything. And so when I look at this matchup, I feel like they are very, very different, but the only people that are going to beat us are ourselves in this game. Are we going to foul? Are we not going to make the shots? Are we not going to hustle to the boards? I feel like we can only beat ourselves.
Oshun and the gang, they need to definitely stay out of foul trouble. There's no doubt about that. Michelle Brown with us here on the ML Sports Platter. I'm Mike Lindsley. It's brought to you by Stanley Law Offices and Welch & Company Jewelers. Michelle, of course, a terrific career at Bonnie's for the women's side. Mark Schmidt, my jaw has been on the floor for years with this guy because I just don't know how he's done it. I really don't. I talk to so many college basketball people, experts across the board, media people, former players, coaches, high school people, and everybody thinks he's like a top 10 coach in the country. I mean, they think he's that good. Where Bonaventure was, I mean, he saved.
Oh yeah,
he saved,
resurrected.
He saved us. He
Totally.
saved the university. He saved the program. He saved the enrollment. He saved the money. But from a basketball standpoint, when you watch him in action, when you've seen what he's done, how the team plays and how it's played for a decade plus under him, and how he goes out and gets guys and how they blend and all the rest, what would make you want to play for him?
I think he has a respect for these players who maybe other people did not, where other people did not recruit them or where other people did not put their faith in them. I think he puts his faith in his guys, and he puts his trust in them, and I think they feel that, I mean, those guys know, they're playing almost 40 minutes every game. They are trusted. And I think he brings that energy, and I think he pushes them, but I think they respect him because he respects them. And I don't think you always see that.
Is the Riley Center the most underrated arena in the country?
I mean, we think it's amazing, and I think it is. And anytime, I don't think it's underrated, but at any time anybody's ever been there, they say, you have to go there. You have to once in your life, you have to go there. So I just think it's a secret still. If you haven't been, you can't understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Are they still doing chicken finger subs in the cafe now?
I don't know.
Remember those?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I was a pizza bagel kind of girl.
Oh, those were great too. Yeah. Yeah. I always remember when I had the, I had the dining plan going for 3 years, and I had the card. I think it was a blue card. And put money back on it. I should probably go to the dining hall tonight. Go to the RC Cafe because Bonaventure, you're 200 feet away from everything, so
That's right.
you could wake up at 8:27 and be early for a class in the journalism school at 8:30, or you're 357 feet away door to door. I think I counted one time, and and in the RC Cafe, I remember using a couple times early in a semester. I'd be like, son of a bitch, I'm already down $100 on this card, because the food. We used to just love going there. What are you doing now? Tell my listeners. I actually just checked today. I have like 6% of my listeners are live in Olean, actually. So, and a bunch of people obviously love the Bonnies and are alum and all the rest. But tell my listeners what you're doing now. I know you're super busy on a daily basis, Michelle.
I am super busy on a daily basis. I live outside of Philadelphia. And I'm a mom to 2 kids. I have a 17-year-old and an almost 13-year-old boys, so I'm very busy with them. But I am the Chief Development Officer at an organization called Independence Mission Schools, and we run 15 independent Catholic K-8 elementary schools in neighborhoods, that are impoverished neighborhoods across Philadelphia. So I'm doing a lot of fundraising, trying to keep these schools going, and trying to give kids an opportunity that I had and a lot of other people have that they wouldn't otherwise.
You just mentioned your passion for the Eagles, right? For the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Would you trade the Eagles Super Bowl from a few years ago for a Bonnie Sweet 16? Or would you have to go Final Four on that one?
I think I maybe would even go Elite 8, but Final Four maybe. I don't know. That's a tough trade. Sweet 16.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessary to trade that. They're going to get there. I don't think it's even necessary.
It's crazy. My cousin Kyle lives in Western New York, and we're basically two peas in a pod. I mean, we're across the board with all of our favorite teams the same, and he texts me. We were in contact all the time about the Bills and the crazy great year that they had, and he said, "Man," he goes, "So the Bonnies, making like the tournament, is it equal to what happened with the Bills? Is what's?" And I said, "Man, it's really close. I mean, it's both of them kind of neck and neck there. I mean, it's been some Western New York Southern tier kind of year, huh?"
Yeah, it has been. I know it is. Even though the Eagles, weren't doing so hot, it is always nice to see the Bills doing well, knowing that all of my friends that still live up there and still follow the Bills are having a good time. So if I can't, I'm happy that they can.
Yeah. How about your former teammates? What are some of the girls up to here these days, Michelle?
Yeah. People are doing some amazing things. And interesting, Shannon O'Connell, who was a year younger than me, she went to Mainland Regional, where Oshun was from, where he went to high school.
Okay.
So little connector there. But
wow.
She's out in Chicago, and she's a senior vice president in the sports world, sports media. She's doing awesome with 2 little girls. And
cool.
Kristen Herzer, who was my age, my grade, my year. She's in New Jersey. She's a social worker, mom of 2 kids. And, a lot of my teammates, some played overseas. Then some came back and worked in sports, worked in the NBA, worked in the WNBA, and have had some really amazing careers. Amy Burleson is now Dr. Burleson, Dr. Sullivan at the Cleveland Clinic. She's doing psychology work with MS patients. So, it's some impressive ladies that I played with and I'm, honored to be friends with still and have that strong bond of connection.
No doubt.
It's great.
A couple more quick ones here for Bonnie's. Can we call you a Bonnie's basketball great, or does that make you sound too old?
No, you cannot.
Former Bonnie star.
If you consider the left bench position a really great one, then that's I was an all-star.
There you go. Former Bonnie player, and of course doing great things now, Michelle Brown. I got a couple quickies, and I'm going to hit you with a quick hits where it's kind of a rapid fire style, and it's basically centered all around Bonaventure. When you see the game today, overall, lot of inside outside 3-point shot, the big man, and that's where I love Oshun, because the big man, and college it still kind of exists more, but the NBA, Anthony Davis can play the 2, for God's sakes, right? So what do you see in the game? What do you like, dislike? Are you into the whole, Warriors kind of transforming the game with these 3 balls? People are talking about creating a 4-point shot because Curry's, draining them from the other side of the state, right? So how do you feel about the game today on all levels?
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that I like the way Bonaventure plays right now is because they are not playing that game, and they're playing with a true center who stays there. They're playing slow. They're passing the ball. They're moving. They're playing how I coach my kids, and so I see them playing some really traditional ball, which I love. It's very difficult for me to get into the NBA often because it's not real basketball.
I just can't. I can't stand the NBA.
I can do the playoffs and I can watch it with my kids, but it's just I'd much rather watch college. Yeah,
no doubt. As you have grown up in the Bona cult, as we've called it, and now looking back, it's weird, like huge life moments and things that happen, college and weddings and, children and all sorts of stuff. Sometimes you look back and you go, wow, that feels like it really does feel that long ago. And then other times you're like, it feels like yesterday.
Yep.
Which one is it more of for you with Bona? Is it more of
yesterday?
Is it
100%?
Okay.
I multiple times, texting my friends and we're like, how is it possible? Like we were literally just there.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah. So there you go. That's why you didn't want me to call you a Bonnie's basketball great, because it feels just like yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, let's play quick hits. I'm going to give you a quick couple of questions. You give me the first thing that comes to your mind. You ready to go?
All right. Yeah, I'm ready.
You have one more meal to eat in Olean, Allegheny type area. Where are you going?
Angie's.
Good choice. Favorite bar in Allegheny?
The OP.
I remember Billy Ho spinning the tunes when I was in school. Let's go to favorite basketball moment in your Bona career.
Oh man.
Give me 2 actually. Give me yours as a player, and then maybe give me one, outside the team. Maybe something on the men's side.
Yeah. As a player, you know what? As a player, my favorite basketball moments were not necessarily even the moments on the court. We didn't win a lot of championships when I was there, but we took some amazing trips. We took a great trip to Hawaii. We got our butts kicked, but we had a really, really great time. Off the court, I think, you know what? Just even having gone to the championship game a few years ago, that heartbreaking loss to St. Louis, but being able to take my kids there and have them experience what my passion and my joy for that it's what it's all about.
Yeah, no doubt. Describe the Riley Center in one word.
Home.
If you could take one class over again in college, what would it be?
Dr. Hamilton's media law.
No. Seriously?
It's my favorite class. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I liked it. It was interesting. I would also maybe also on a other end take a Brother Basil course. Yeah.
I barely got through media law, and I don't think Ham didn't like me anyways. Final question. Career wise, what are you most proud of?
I am most proud of impacting a lot of kids, a lot of people. Making sure that they can have things and that I can help them in whatever way I can. It's using my skills to write something really well, or speak to somebody about the work and about the impact. I was never going to be a journalist, but I knew that I wanted to hone those skills at that school and make sure that I could, use my strengths for good, and that's what I've been able to do. Former
Bonnie's women's player, of course, terrific career, JMC, as well at SBU, doing awesome things now with the Independence Mission Schools, and for sure, make sure you follow her on Twitter at M3Brown. Michelle Brown, this was great. Thank you so much. Go Bonnies.
Thank you.
The ML Sports Platter is brought to you by our good friends at Liverpool Physical Therapy. Make sure you go there for your rehab assignments, of course, whether it's rotator cuff, ACL, you name it. Pete and Mike in the game doing an awesome job. No doctor prescription is necessary for the first 10 physical therapy visits in New York State. Go see them on Facebook as well. Big thanks to Welch & Company Jewelers and Rosie's Corner. Don't forget to grab all the pizza and wings for you and friends and family throughout the entire March basketball. They've got the pizza wing combos. They've got specialty days like Fish Friday and Chicken and Biscuit Wednesday and Meatloaf Monday as well. Rosie's Corner, right off the Bartell Road exit in Brewerton. If you're in and around Central New York, get there. Pizza, pasta, hot and cold subs, wings. It's amazing. Jason, Jody, and the gang doing an unbelievable job. Also, a tip of the cap thank you to CNY Electrical and Sit Mean Sit Syracuse. What a podcast this was. Joe Lunardi from ESPN and Bonaventure women's basketball former star. I couldn't call her great. Michelle Brown did an awesome job chatting Bonaventure basketball and just how special the place really, truly is. I'm Mike Lindsley, ML Sports Platter. Google, Apple, Stitcher, Deezer, anywhere else you get your podcasts on your smartphone device. Download, subscribe, listen, leave that 5-star review. It all helps. And hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.